This is my patch 1.22 PvP formation guide. I'm going to have formations that have both SSR and UR heroes, and I'm going to have formations that have SSR heroes only for the free-to-play or low-spending players. I limited the team to 3 teams so that it's applicable to everyone for Mastermind Arena, Champions Arena, and Elite Campaign if you so choose to use your formations that way. At the end of the video, I'll create 3 teams as an example from all of the heroes that are available in the game to give you an idea of how one would make their PvP formations ready. Here's the first formation, the Ama-Morri and Morrigan formation, also known as Ama-Morri. And despite Morrigan's nerf from patch 1.22, she's still pretty powerful with the Meat Fate applying to Ama-Morri. The only change I would say now is Morrigan, you can't risk putting her in the front line as you would do a few times, because if she dies, Meat Fate no longer works, even though she has the Circle of Doom ability. So Ama-Morri and Morrigan stay in the back. I try to stick close to the same factions. For the front and back row heroes, the only one who's out of faction would be Poseidon. But that's because of his ultimate, which helps gather heroes and allows Ama-Morri to use her luminous etching within his whirlpool of wrath. All of the heroes that I've picked for the front row provide a stable front line through tanking, stun/crowd control, and even healing, which Leonidas, Iset, and Dangun can do. Faust, even though he's not a tank, he can swap with whatever frontline hero is in front of Ama-Morri, and I stress the importance of this if you're going to use Faust, is put him in front of Ama-Morri so that she can have free hits on whoever gets stunned by Faust swapping at the start of the battle. Joan of Arc and Hercules, they provide a free stun at the start of the battle. Athena, Leonidas, Iset, Dangun, shielding or healing. For the support heroes, Aladdin, Aphrodite, Cassandra, and the most important, Western Queen, because she'll help Ama-Morri's damage output. But everybody does some sort of healing or distraction, like Aladdin with his lamp rub at the beginning of the battle, which will summon his genie, or Aphrodite with her fatal attraction, which takes one hero temporarily out of the match by distracting them and making them come on over to the allied side. Alright, now we've moved on to Oda Nobunaga. So, with Oda Nobunaga, the only essential hero is him. You're trying to support him in getting his ultimate triggered as fast as possible so that he can start dealing the Demon Lord damage. So Hades can provide the Shadow Shield to him if you have Iconic Weapon 500. Hercules can stun and use Provoke to draw enemies away from him. And with Oda Nobunaga, when he uses his Terrorize skill, a lot of the enemies tend to be pushed towards the back wall, and that in a way helps group them up so that Hercules can gather more heroes in his Provoke skill. Leonidas provides the healing and a form of defense should Oda Nobunaga get damaged too quickly. Joan of Arc, she can provide the attack and defense boost because she'll be right up front near Oda Nobunaga, so that when she plants her banner of honor, Oda will be right there. In the back row, Freyja, of course, to boost the fighter types like Oda. Nephthys, Cassandra, and Hela. Same faction, and they're there for healing and help to keep Oda alive. Hela improves the lifesteal percentage of all heroes on the team, and Oda's iconic weapon, his Chimera stat goes into lifesteal, so that bolsters his lifesteal ability. So Hela's a pretty good choice. Hela and Freyja, can't go wrong there. Now, this formation is under the assumption that you're putting Oda Nobunaga in the front line. If you put him in the back line, I'm going to add 2 heroes. Faust can go in the front line as long as you have him in front of Oda so that he can start slashing away at whatever hero Faust switched with. It's the same concept with the Ama-Morri formation before. And then Lilith to go into the back. Faction bonus, and so that she can add the nuking function to your team. Now, I know the main damage is supposed to come from Oda Nobunaga, but it's there if you want to use it. I forgot to mention for my previous formation with Oda, you can add Morrigan in there if for some reason you don't want to do an Ama-Morri formation. The only thing is, if you put Oda in the back, don't include Nephthys or Lilith, because there's a chance they might steal the Meet Fate ability. Or even Freyja. Yeah. So. Okay. This one's an older meta formation. It's still used, it's just not as popular anymore. This is the dodge formation, because you have Marduk, who has the dodge ability when he goes into warlord form, Loki, who has dodge boost from one of his abilities, and the same for Lucifer. So usually you'll see them positioned with Marduk and Lucifer in the front line and Loki in the back, but they can all go in the front if you want to. For support, you're gonna have Persephone, and she has iconic weapon 500, which gives 25 energy per dodge, so it can help build up ultimates. Hela provides lifesteal. Lifesteal is Lucifer's Chimera stat, but it can help the whole team in general. Dionysus, he has the accuracy lowering ability from Mist of Wine. Faust, Faust is just in general a really good PvP hero, so if you can faction match him, he's always a viable option. Morrigan, the thing is you just have to leave Persephone out of it and either put Loki or Lucifer in the back. And then Western Queen to power up whoever you got that has the most attack, Loki or Lucifer. Now these next two formations, you see them here and there. They're not quite the meta, but they're more options that the higher tier players will use if they've already run through some other options for the first three teams of their Champions Arena formations. So in this one you have Ninhursag or Nin, and you're pairing her up with, you can pair up with Artio. That'll make a good counter-attack combination for the front, or if you just want to focus on Nin, get her Odin to support her ultimate some more, and to give her some shielding so that she has more damage to absorb for her stored potential energy when she attacks back. Poseidon, just so he can gather everybody so that when she does use either Nibiru Fury or the Immovable Mountain auto attack, it has everybody in front to deal the damage to. So in the back, you can supplement Nin with more DPS from Artemis, because when she uses her ultimate Nibiru Fury and punches the enemy heroes to the back wall, Artemis will have more range to deal slightly more damage, as she does more damage the further away enemy heroes are. Freyja to improve the start of battle attack speed for tanks and fighters. Susanoo, if you need someone to distract the heroes on the other side of Nin. Nin is perfectly capable of taking on the top of the front row position and absorbing 3 heroes trying to attack her. Susanoo can go towards the bottom. Then you have the support heroes, usual Idun, Iset, Agatanya, and Western Queen. Iset's there, of course, because of faction bonus, but also Resurrect, just so Nin can keep on using Immovable Mountain, Alpine Shelter, and just being a powerhouse out on the front line. Okay, the next formation is a focus on Prometheus. And just like the Nin formation, the Prometheus formation, you don't see it too much in PvP. It's like a backup option. But if you do use it, you want a strong front. Poseidon here is there because Prometheus has an area of effect skill which would be better optimized if all the enemy heroes were gathered near each other, so that's what Poseidon is for. Everybody else provides, she increases attack and also fends off enemies from the front. Hercules with the stun, buying some time. Leonidas support. Isunshin can provide parry and defensive support for Prometheus if he's on the back row flank. In the back row, you can have Gabriel to provide a form of protection in case there are any heroes that get into the back row area easily, and then everybody else is healers, and you have faction matching Nuwa. Nuwa can also help speed up Prometheus's ultimate triggering so that he can put more tinders out there. So eventually you get to a point where Prometheus, his tinders, he with iconic weapon 600 can heal ally heroes with the tinders, or use current health percentage damage against enemy heroes. Okay, well, that wraps it up for the UR hero mixed formation. So we'll go into the SSR only hero formations next. Okay, top of the line. Everyone knows this one. You get Odin. You combine him with one of these three on the front line. And you most often in the back row will have Freyja to give that start of battle attack speed boost, and Hela to give more lifesteal and healing. You can play around, mix and match how you want with the back row. One support, two fighters, or even a mage like Zeus, because he can provide shielding in case the front row needs it. Yeah, so one support or two support if you feel your Apollo, Archimedes, or Chiron are dying too much. And have both Hela and Idun or Nakana or Cassandra or Aphrodite. So yeah, very flexible build, and it's a very powerful one. This one's a bit of an older meta formation. The focus was getting Medusa to fire off her petrifying glare and repeatedly use it for as long as possible to keep the enemy formation in a stun-locked state. You need a very strong front because Medusa is a fragile hero and can easily be sniped. So someone like Anubis who can reduce backline enemy heroes' critical chance, Athena, Hercules who can provide crowd control, Hades who can well, he's just the same faction as her. It's just nice to have the same faction. I would say the others are a bit more effective. Leonidas can provide healing, damage reduction for her. And in the back row, Freyja to get her attack speed up and running from the start of the battle. And you have a bunch of healers. Western Queen to help speed up her ultimate as well. So yeah, Freyja, Western Queen, I would say are the top two out of that. But you could always need healing if you find that your Medusa is dying too fast. Another old formation known as the toilet formation. You have Poseidon using his whirlpool of wrath to gather enemy heroes, and the primary damage comes from fighter or mage heroes that have a limited AoE ultimate. So, or someone who benefits from affecting many heroes at the same time, like Cleopatra can build up her snake venom, and each stack adds to her ultimate's damage. But yeah, close AoE spaces. Oberon from start to finish, 2 attacks. Flora, Gabrielle, and also performing the water curtain to protect the backline damage dealers. Murasaki, and then you have the support. Idun, she fires her ultimate, everybody else starts getting energy faster and repeating the AoE attack, so Idun's pretty good there. Western Queen to raise whoever has the highest attack, their energy and attack levels. So you got your support and your nukers. And last, for the SSR hero only formations, there's a fully committed snipe formation that you can make, where you'll have Loki, Kamazas and Susanoo. The goal here is take out the backline heroes as fast as possible. Joan of Arc can help boost their attack and defense stats because when she uses her initial charge, she'll be right near them when she lays down the Banner of Courage. Yi Sun-shin will give his defense boost. I would recommend giving it to Susanoo and Kamazas. Loki has his self-saving ability, but these two, well, all three are very glass cannon-like. Or at least Loki has something that can save him. These two don't. So Yi Sun-shin can come in handy there. Leonidas, as usual, providing a form of healing and damage reduction. Hercules, stun, just like Joan of Arc stuns at the start of battle, so it'll take care of the frontline heroes while the snipers can take care of the back row heroes. Some additional heroes you can swap out with if you, say for example, don't have Loki or Kamazas. You could put in Tamema no Me, Titania, then you have the supports to go along with the team. Hela for lifesteal just to help these three and maybe these two when they cross over into enemy territory. They're definitely going to depend on lifesteal to help stay alive. Idun, Nagakanya, and then Western Queen for whoever has the highest attack. Okay, so I will show next an example of 3 of the UR and SSR hero formations. Okay, here's an example of 3 teams using UR heroes as well as SSR heroes. So you have the Ama-Morri formation, you have the Oda Powerhouse formation, combined with Lilith for extra nuking abilities. I use Faust here. He's gonna be in front of Oda. Oda attacks the swapped hero, so it's gonna be Lilith, Hela, and Oda in the back. And then you have the dodge team formation. You got the 3 essentials: Marduk, Lucifer, and Loki. Then I chose Persephone and Nephthys as a healer and some more damage to go on top of what these other 4 are already dealing. So let's look at now an example of SSR hero only formations. And here's an example of the 3 teams for SSR only hero formation. So you got the Odin Apollo combination, Freyja to speed up his attack, their attack, and to add in Susanoo to help mitigate Apollo's initial damage. Because as you all know, Apollo, he is slightly snipeable, at least until he gets his shield generation going. Then you have the toilet formation. Flora does the damage that Poseidon does the damage to the heroes that Poseidon gathers. You have a side thing where Faust is swapping with whatever hero is on the front line on the bottom. So Gabriel will put up the water curtain and slow them down immediately. And then of course a healer, Nagakanya. And the third formation is your Medusa formation. You got Medusa in the middle of the back row, Hela and Western Queen to speed up Medusa's attack and her ultimate firing, and a strong front. So there you have it. So use this guide as a reference for whatever heroes that you currently have, and make it work.